Hi, I'm Arianna,
And I'm Marcus.
and this
This
is
is
Rated
Rated
R
R
for
for
Relatives.
Relatives. We're
um,
gonna have to get like an
I
actual
don't know.
intro.
Welcome to the second episode of the Rated R for Relatives podcast.
And apparently, me and Ariana did realize that we actually haven't like said what we were going to
Yeah,
do with the podcast and like why we started this, what this is
yeah,
really supposed to be in
hmm
general. Which hey, we got excited,
yeah. We got a little too excited, but obviously we're gonna do that now.
Right.
Well, first I want to explain like why I personally came up with the podcast because Marcus and I can talk about movies, media, music, like so much, and we can go
Like a
on
lot.
for hours and hours and hours of just talking about it. And one of our conversations of talking about movies, I was like, why don't we just put this on camera?
Right.
Maybe this is something people would actually want to watch.
And the fun part about that is obviously we grew up with each other. So
hmm
seeing how we have our different points of views, it's almost more just kind of putting that out there, I guess.
Yeah,
And
I was born in '03. You were born in '06.
hmm
So I feel like we were the last group of kids that genuinely sat and watched movies and watched TV. And that is how we basically spent our days,
right,
versus kids today who get their media on like YouTube. Like it's
right,
it's YouTube channels, like family channels, or like the weird cartoons, or like Netflix, streaming other streaming services like that have their like own children cartoons or whatnot. Like
right,
it kind of goes back to when I personally would go to school and it would be like, oh my gosh, like you watch Hannah Montana? Like I watch Hannah Montana. Like
right.
you watch Victorious? So do
Like people
I.
bonded over that kind of stuff. And I don't
Yes.
like, I mean, granted, I'm not sure.
That's what I mean. Like today, now Roman, which is our youngest brother, he's 11 years old. He's going to grow
Right.
up like going to high school and being like, yeah, you guys watched Ryan's World? So did I. Or you watch Mr. Beast? Oh my gosh, I grew up
Yeah,
watching Mr.
right,
Beast.
exactly.
I grew up watching
Like,
Coco Melon or like.
God, Bluey.
Blue. Okay, hold on. I love Bluey.
Here's my thing. Like, I am because I mean more about like I'm gonna be showing my kids Danny Phantom. I'm gonna show my
Right.
kids Fairly Odd Parents if I can help it. Like I
Mhm.
am like that was genuine television. Like you know what I mean. Like and it was geared towards kids in like a good way.
Also, if you don't know us personally, well, I guess you know that we used to act in LA. We kind
Right.
of mentioned that the last
A little
episode.
bit. Yeah.
But we'll talk about the whole story. I'll talk about my experience and how you ended up also
Yeah.
getting
Which
dragged into it.
that's a fun thing in and of itself. Honestly.
This is our way of getting back to it and getting back our passion and getting back the love that we once had for it.
I mean, obviously, we can talk about that kind of thing for days. But the point is
And
this is why
yeah.
why we've done this and why we are doing this is so that we can kind of feel our way back into this kind of world, I guess, of just pop culture in general, like
Yeah.
really, because like we said earlier, it's music, it's movies, it's television. Like these are things that we like engulf ourselves in truly day to
Mhm.
day. Like and we take pride in that because it is to us it's taking in everything around us and obviously what's being put out in general, whether that be something that's being put out now like this year or something that was put out a few decades ago. It's culture
Yeah.
and it's how we have experienced the world, and we hope to share our lenses with you guys. And
Yeah.
we obviously hope that you can have fun with us as we talk about things. We implore everyone to comment thoughts in general and all that kind of a thing. This is a podcast, is what this is for. We're open to obviously a little bit of suggestion. We're trying to grow, and hopefully people will
Get
stick
better
around for that.
as yeah, and like get better as we go. Anyways, let's dive in to relate to this rant. You can go first.
I'm gonna get a little deep with this rant. Honestly, this past week, especially just because it's been the beginning of the year,
Mhm.
has been an extremely introspective thing for me. There has always been usually a lot that has kind of happened, especially in this time of year. It brings up interesting, I guess, feelings all the time. So, I mean, with that being said, I don't know. I guess just seeing a lot of what I've been through and what I have, I guess, just accomplished as well, seen and just done whatnot. I can still confidently say that I am very glad where I am today. And
Mhm.
that is the one thing. Because obviously I have worked very hard to even get to a place where I am. You kind of have to start asking yourself the big questions,
Right.
especially when you're about to turn 20.
You're about to be 20.
About to be 20
Oh
this
my
year.
gosh. That just why am I gonna get emotional?
You're probably gonna find her doing that a lot, but
You guys, well, you'll find out in my rant, but my hormones are all over the place right now. But I when we saw you last week, Jose like even said that like he can tell that you are better mentally and that you
yeah,
are definitely in a good place in your life right now, and I think it's you growing, dude. Like your brain is developing. I'm being an older sibling and being able to watch my younger siblings and my younger cousins even um watching their brains literally form
right,
in real time is so crazy to me and so emotional. Like I'm not a parent obviously,
right.
but I am an oldest sibling and it can almost feel that way. Like I can understand why like we kind of give our mom a little bit of like, okay, can you relax when she gets like
Right.
emotional about us like growing up, and I'm like, okay, like this is what happens. Like what
Right.
is we don't stay babies forever, but I kind of get it. I
Right.
understand that because I'm watching you grow up and I'm watching you become the person that you are, and I'm watching so many other like of my other siblings become the people that they are, and I can't help but feel really proud because I can genuinely sit back and say that we are forming into great people. Like I can confidently say that we are decent human beings. We have humanity, we have integrity, we our moral stand ground. Like we were raised pretty well. I mean, of course, like not everyone's household's perfect, but
Right.
I feel like we genuinely are growing to be amazing people. And that's not to be like cocky, but that's
Right.
to be like I genuinely feel like I'm right in my soul and I'm right in my heart. And I
At least like in the way that you're going. I always like to put it
exactly
like that because
like
obviously no one's like perfect the way that they are in that point,
mm-hmm.
but in we are beginning to feel more comfortable in the ways that we're going in life, and
Yeah.
especially in like the last like a few months of this last year, I kind of had to discover a few more things about myself, and I hate to say it like this because I mean obviously I do apologize for the way I guess certain things might have been handled, but that did involve me kind of hurting someone
Mm-hmm.
in a way because I guess I couldn't give them what they expected of me
Right.
in like that kind of regard. I will just say like there's a lot of interesting things that are surrounding me now, and
Mm-hmm.
especially people that I'm meeting. Like some people that I'm meeting are great. Like if you guys see my YouTube channel, which go subscribe if you haven't already, but
Mm-hmm.
that I feel me and my friends, and obviously, and
Mm-hmm.
I love those people to death around me. They are
Mm-hmm.
literally some of the best people ever. They cause me to meet some pretty great people. Like they help me get out there in the world, and that's why I film and document me and my friends. The point is it's fun for me to do things like that because again it's putting me in this space where I'm wanting to be. I'm getting back to doing what
Mm-hmm.
I have found my passion in, what the things that did inspire me to even go these routes of like my
Yeah.
photography and that my work like that, and that yeah,
Videography
yeah,
and film, and
exactly.
I'm also finding that too. Not to be like, oh, let's make it about me, but like I feel like you and I are at the same level of creativity right now. Like we have that same drive of wanting to just be creative. Like
Right.
I I used to vlog too.
Right, yeah.
I used to vlog. I had a little vlogging phase. I want to say like at the end of 2019.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. Yeah.
Right. Like, and I fully regret not continuing it.
Right.
I wish I did because I used to film at school and I have like lost files of like footage of me in
No,
high
real.
school,
Yeah.
and it makes me so sad. Like, because I miss, I miss doing that. I miss my passion sometimes, my
Right.
passion to be creative, and I think that's so important, and that's something that I would advise like um anybody that I know like that's younger than me, like if you want to take any advice from a 22-year-old, it's don't lose your passion for creativity and
Honestly.
be creative in anything. Find something you like, whether that's drawing, painting, music, even filming, like taking photos like you do. Like it, that's art. And I don't want anybody to lose their passion or creativity for that ever. Art is what makes the world go round, in my opinion.
I mean, my whole end point is really just that I have been doing a lot of introspectiveness. I guess if that's I'm pretty sure that's a
Yeah.
word. In the past week, in the beginning of the year, and I feel very good about
Mhm.
this year. I feel very confident. This is how it goes.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
what growing is. It's
Mhm.
what being a person, a productive person in today's world
Yeah.
is. It's what's being a member of society.
Yeah.
Like we're we're we are almost beginning. Part of us are beginning to lose touch
Mhm.
with those kind of things, creativity and art and
Mhm.
humanity. Basically, I have done a lot of thinking. It's been a lot of, ensuring what my goals want to be, how I'm
Mhm.
putting myself out into the world, even like
Yeah.
that, and
Mhm.
how I want to do my content and, the whole thing about it. And some of that is even not knowing what I want to do about it
Yeah.
because, it's learning along. It's,
Mhm.
trying to figure out what works. And I'm fine with that. And part of, like we were saying, doing this and just kind of growing up in general is being okay with that.
Yeah.
So that's the lesson. Be okay with that. Be
Yeah.
okay with change. Be okay with being a little uncomfortable, and be okay with some of the bad days. But
Okay. Let's
so what is your weekly rant now? What pissed
um
you off these past few days?
well, I actually am going to get a little deep too.
Oh damn, this is deep. This
This
is a
is a
deep.
deep episode.
Only
um
episode 2.
so as of recently, like the past year, I have had a lot of issues with my uterus. Sorry for everybody like TMI, but whatever. Like that's what's happening to my body and I'm angry all the time about it. So you're going to know about it. I'm going to let everybody know that the reason why I'm angry all the time is because my body's betraying me right now.
Right.
And saying that out loud sucks. As of lately, I have been diagnosed with adenomyosis and I have a 4.5 centimeter ovarian cyst in my left ovary. Um, to explain what adenomyosis is, to put it in simple terms, I'm shedding from my uterine muscle. So during my time of the month, it can be long, and I, in turn, obviously, like my iron levels are very low, and that affects my energy. That affects my motivation for quite literally everything, and it sucks because
Right.
I know when I'm
Mm,
feeling sluggish, at least I know the reason why. The reason why I'm feeling like, oh, I really don't have the energy to do that or like whatever. Like, and no matter what, the moods where I'm like, at first I thought I had like depression
right.
because there was days where I did not want to get up from my bed. I didn't know why because it's like, well, there's nothing for me to be really depressed about,
Right.
come to find out it's because my iron levels were really low. And so a couple weeks ago, I had to go to the emergency room because I was feeling pain like on my left side of my stomach. And my first thought all the time when I feel pain right there, appendix.
Right.
My appendix is bursting right now.
I freak out
I
every
freak out.
time.
Yeah. But I have also stomach issues. I got my gallbladder removed for those who don't know back last year in May. I had it removed so like my digestive system is still adjusting from that. So every time I get pain in my stomach or like my abdomen in general, I'm like what is going on? What's happening? It could be a
Right.
number of things. So they take me back, they're taking my blood and telling them all my symptoms and they quite literally are like, yeah, like send her labs out and make them red. So I'm like, okay,
You're like, what does that mean?
what does that
Yeah.
mean? Red means bad. Okay,
Right.
so clearly there's something seriously wrong with me. And I'm just waiting for them to take me back for like an ultrasound. They do. They give me an ultrasound and I'm in pain. Like I've had this type of ultrasound before, wasn't in pain, and that's when they diagnosed me with adenomyosis the first time I had this type of ultrasound.
Right.
And the second time I was so uncomfortable. Obviously, the results came back and they told me that I have a 4.5 ovarian cyst in my left ovary. So what do I do? And
Right.
they literally said like it could shrink on its own. That's best case scenario. Mid case scenario, it ruptures. I'm like, what do you mean? Like you guys want it to rupture? Like that's he's like that is the best possibility is that it ruptures. Because if it doesn't and it gets bigger, it can weigh down my other ovary and like cause like it's called ovarian torsion, and they explain it to me as like cutting off the blood flow in my uterus. So it cuts off the blood flow and basically they would have to take out my ovary, and I don't want to cry. I think I'm emotional about it because it's like, what do you mean those are my options? Like
Right.
best case it ruptures because and that's the best case because it goes away. You know, I don't have to worry about it cutting off the blood flow. Worst case you would have to take it out. Like you go from 0 to 10, you know? And there's times where like I'm going about my everyday life and I forget about it and I feel a pain there. And it's not like like a punch to the gut, I want to say. It's more of like a wince type of pain, like it like got triggered by something or I was moving a little too quickly or whatever and it's like pissed off, you know?
Right.
I think my emotions are coming from frustration cuz it's like as a woman, women are told you have to suffer and you can't come in here until you're on the brink of death and that's when we'll take you seriously. Or their resolution is birth control.
Right.
And birth control doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't work for me. I've been on birth control and my body reacted terribly to it. Those are the types of things that we are being told as women. Like, you hate the pain that you're in, here's birth control. But sometimes that can make it worse or cause another issue that is so much scarier than what is happening to me right now.
Right.
So yeah, if you are a woman and you're listening to this and you are having the same issues as me, you're not alone. But that's my rant for the week. And on a lighter note, let's get back to our second segment for cinema. Okay, so I'm gonna go first this time.
Right. And if for obviously the movie that I gave Arianna this week was Blade Runner 2049, which obviously there is the original Blade Runner as well, but honestly you don't need to watch that film to get what's happening in this film. That's what I really love about it. So anyhow, she watched Blade Runner 2049. What were your thoughts?
Jaw dropping, dude. Jaw dropping cinematic masterpiece.
One of Ryan Gosling's best performances,
and that is my first note. I haven't seen Ryan Gosling in many things. I think the things that I have seen him in are La La Land, which is a great
also
movie.
a great performance.
Barbie. I've seen him in the Barbie movie, and
Thank you, Barbie.
yes, The Notebook.
Of course.
But to be honest, watching this movie, I don't think I need to see him in anything else. Because unfortunately, this has set the bar high for his career. I can't even put into words how incredible this movie is. So I watched this with Jose.
Right.
And he has seen this movie before, but he told me he didn't finish like the last 30 or so minutes of it.
Right.
So watching it with someone that has seen this movie before made watching this movie better. Because I gotta be real, I was confused. Like pretty much the entire time. I don't want to say the entire time, like a lot of it kind of pieced together in the last half.
Yeah.
But for the first hour, this movie's 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, no.
For the first
There's
hour,
a director's cut also.
there's a director's cut.
Yes.
Ana de Armas.
Oh.
Gorgeous. If I could look like anybody, I would want to look like her.
I think anyone, like, she is literally like, not to be that kind of male glazer, I guess, but like, I'm sorry, she is like the most attractive woman I think I have ever seen. Like, and that's like realistically, I mean, like somewhat realistically standards. Like, she has no work done to her, like anything like that. She just looks like that.
That's what I mean. Like you were just born like
Like, she
that.
is
Like,
just a very, like, beautiful
just
woman, like
beautiful woman. And but like I mentioned before, jaw dropping. And
Mhm.
my jaw dropping moment in this entire movie, because this movie is just filled with like plot twists.
Mhm.
Seeing that she was a product, my heart broke. Because at first I was annoyed a little of when she first appeared on screen. Because listen, again, gorgeous woman. In the beginning of the movie, he reveals his anniversary present to her, and it's this like device that allows him to take her as a hologram
Right.
everywhere
Mhm.
he goes. They're out in the rain. It's a very sweet scene. It's a very intimate moment. I couldn't help but the fact that it was raining, and and noticing that her dress that she was wearing becomes see-through. They were already sexualizing her, and she hasn't even been on the screen for 3 minutes.
Mm.
Like that. I got annoyed about that at first, and I'm call me too woke.
Right.
But like that was my first thought. But then as I'm seeing their relationship progress throughout the movie, I started growing attached to her
Mhm.
and to their relationship, because I started getting attached. And when it was revealed that she was a product, I felt this sadness just wash over me, because it made me realize that if this movie were to be a reality at all in our world, it kind of it showcased that women would only exist solely for the purpose of catering to men.
A good amount of it, yeah.
But like when he's like sitting down, minding his business, and we see like that there's this brothel essentially of women prostituting themselves. And that's all I see in the women in this movie, other than, of course, the replicant
Right,
and
and then his boss and,
his
like, the
boss, right? But that's the thing; those are women that held positions of power,
right,
and that's why they are respected, because they hold
right.
grand positions of power.
It's a really big meta commentary on a lot of things.
Right. But as the movie goes on, I realize that's the basis of the plot. Because listen, because when they find out in the movie that the artificial replicants can procreate, it shatters quite literally everything. That's basically like the whole point. That's why his boss was freaking out and was like, you need to keep quiet about this, because that's when she also realizes too, when they find that out that they can just create lives on their own, they become unstoppable. Real life human beings no longer matter anymore. Movies that introduce a dystopian world like this one frighten me,
Oh, yeah.
truthfully, because when it's all over, the end credits are rolling, I'm sitting there thinking we are not far off from this. Like, we think of robots and we immediately start thinking about things that they can do to convenience us, right? And it's all cool and fun and games until they start to feel. Because that's what is important about humans. We feel. We feel things and everything.
Mhm.
And that is something that is so important and detrimental to society as a whole. That is who we are. All these little things in our personalities, that makes us who we are. And that is so important. I can't get that from a robot. The whole thing with Ana de Armas, Joy, as a product, her whole advertisement is basically being able to conform to whoever you want her to be.
Right.
Basically, all she's doing is telling you what you want to hear. And when I'm seeing that and realizing that, and I think he also realizes it too, because at the end, we're like, he's all beaten up and he comes across like that big advertisement of Joy. And it's an iconic scene of, you look lonely, I can fix that, you know.
Mhm.
And she walks back, and you're seeing like the literal slogan of the product. And I think he realizes like that she wasn't real. But that is so sad to me when I saw that, his realization of that, because she felt real to him. And he even says that, because she tries to remind him, I'm not real. And he's like, no, but you are to me. And I was so confused on whether his character was a real human or a replicant
And
or
that
not.
is what is actually supposed to happen, actually.
Well, I'm gonna get into that. Ryan Gosling's character, Officer K,
Mhm.
Joe, whatever. I watched this movie and I came to the conclusion that he is a replicant, but very badly doesn't want to be. There's a sense of there's an undertone of envy in his character that there are people out there that can.
And that's what almost drives his whole mission with the whole movie of trying to find
Exactly.
out if like they can create life and like
Yeah.
because then it's this, what does it mean for me
Mhm.
and my purpose, because obviously we see how replicants are used mostly as like almost law enforcement basically,
Right.
when they're like when they're like making sure to reprogram him like every time, like kind
Mhm.
of checking to make sure that he is
Yes.
still,
The
you know,
interlinked. The
exactly
cells interlinked. So, when I was watching that, I was looking at Jose like,
what is
what is
happening.
happening right now?
Yeah,
And he was like, he has to do that every single time he goes outside and comes back into the headquarters because he needed to make sure he doesn't essentially go rogue.
right. The whole thing for the interlink thing is like they're keeping them is that, like, you know, in check, like,
In check, right? Because they want them to be manipulated to
right.
do what they want them to do.
And it's
And
funny because
mhm,
like that whole thing has kind of been known to be almost like a big, even just commentary on like male health in that, so because that scene is kind of, it's like it's him trying, it's like you said, like almost suppress, like being told to suppress whatever he
right,
might be feeling or
right.
could be anything like that.
Hmm.
That is seen is like so deeply, especially, I mean, at least for me, like when you hear like those words like that the voice is saying to him,
Hmm.
and he's like saying like obviously like like interlinked back, and that,
Yeah.
and obviously like the second time that we see him go back and do it, or maybe it's
Yes.
the third, I forget,
No,
and
it's the
he,
second time.
right,
Yeah.
the second time, that's when they realize like, oh shit, and then, you know, he
He's starting
basically,
to feel.
right,
And
because he doesn't say interlinked, like, or he doesn't, he says interlinked back when it doesn't say it. Do you long to hold somebody's hand, and then he says interlinked, like, because obviously they're not supposed to say interlinked to that part because they, like, it's not said
oh,
as like,
I need to
you
watch
know,
this movie again
no,
because like
it's a movie you
there's
need
certain
to,
things I feel like this is a type of movie that you need to watch probably at least 3 times.
yeah, like 2 or 3 times honestly to like fully grasp everything that is going on.
Right. Leading into my fun facts about this is um, Denis Villeneuve, the director of the film, had initially rejected the job to direct this movie because he was scared essentially that he was going to butcher it,
Mm-hmm.
because he loved the original Blade Runner that much.
Mm-hmm.
And he waited to get Ridley Scott, the director of the original Blade Runner, his permission. And but what also swayed him was the script. The
Mm-hmm.
script, him and Ridley Scott both read the script to Blade Runner 2049 and both loved it. And therefore, Ridley Scott was like, I think you can do this. Go for it. I didn't know that Denis Villeneuve directed so many good movies.
Yeah.
The movie I have seen that I think is probably one of the best movies that Jake Gyllenhaal has done, Prisoners,
Mm-hmm.
with Paul Dano and Hugh Jackman. So good. And I didn't know that he was the director of that movie. And there's other movies I really want to watch of his, like Sicario. I guess it's a
Right.
take on
Yeah.
like the cartel and
Yeah.
the war on drugs.
Yeah.
And
I've heard about the movie a lot. I haven't
I'm
watched it.
I'm very interested to watch that movie at some point in my life. Next fact is that Jared Leto had partially obscured his vision as a method acting tool for his character Neander Wallace, whom is the blind creator of the AI
Right. The
replicants.
replicants. Right.
And I guess how he did that was putting on the lenses and leaving them on for all the days that he was shooting. Basically, like from literally the moment he woke up, put them on, had someone like a crew member guide him to where he needed to go, and took him off at the end of the shoot day. And I guess he filmed all of his scenes in 2 weeks. And that brings up a conversation of method acting. This whole thing of method acting, I'm not knocking it. You don't have to put on contact lenses and pretend you're blind. Dude, just close your eyes. Wear a mask, like eye mask or something. Don't
Right.
hurt yourself.
Right.
Don't harm yourself to be this character. Do you get what I'm saying? Method acting, especially men, take it to a whole other level.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm trying to think of like any female actress that I can know that maybe has done method that, like, I think is like a notable thing for that, but I really can't think of one. I mean, I
I'm
don't know
trying
of
to as
anyone.
well, and I off the top of my head, I can't
Because that's my other
exactly.
thing is honestly like I don't know if like women do method acting because they kind of
That's what I mean. Because
like,
women feel.
Right. And
They
that's the
feel
thing.
more than men.
Men need to put themselves in those shoes
Mhm.
to feel most of that emotion that probably their character has to
Right.
feel in that moment and
Because you've
whatnot.
because unfortunately, historically, men have been taught to not to cry. Be a man. Men don't feel these things, women do or whatever. That
Right.
is so stupid. But that's what I'm saying, like you don't have to take it to an extreme. Like women
Right.
don't do that because women are have the ability to feel things freely without any judgment.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's not always the case for men, and I think my public announcement is to stop method acting, like, dangerously. Please
Yeah.
stop, don't hurt yourself,
Or anyone else.
just do the work, study.
Yeah.
Study how a blind person acts, how they move about life, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, like hell, Jamie Foxx spent like a whole few days just with Ray Charles for the role of
right,
like
exactly.
I don't know.
That's a healthy method acting. Because 'cause I'm not knocking method acting as a whole, because there's healthier ways to do that, but, like, dude, you could have just closed your eyes. My next fact, speaking of the role of Neander Wallace, David Bowie was actually supposed to be Neander Wallace in this movie.
Really?
Yes. Unfortunately, David Bowie had passed
That's the
away
way.
before
Yeah.
filming started. So that's why he was and
Really?
yeah, Denis Villeneuve was set on him. Like there was no auditioning. Like he wanted David Bowie
I
as
mean,
Neander
I
Wallace.
can see it.
And
Yeah.
I can see that. He has the look for
Right.
it. I feel like he has this like aura about him that fits very well. And I've seen David Bowie in Pan's Labyrinth. He would have been amazing in
Right.
this movie. And of course, it just went to Jared Leto. And there is some opinions about like there could have been any other person, but the reason why Denis Villeneuve chose Jared Leto as the role is because he has a similar rock star vibe that David Bowie has, or like the aura. And finally, my last fact is that Ridley Scott, the director of the original Blade Runner, and Denis Villeneuve have a difference of opinion on whether Rick Deckard,
Oh, really?
who is played by Harrison
Harrison Ford's
Ford. Yeah,
character is
Harrison
a
Ford's character.
replicant or not?
Yes, exactly. Ridley Scott, the answer is simple. He
Is a
is a
replicant.
replicant. Denis Villeneuve, his answer is not so simple. And here's what I love about directors like Denis Villeneuve. I love a leaving it up to the audience type of
Mm-hmm.
director. Interpret it the way you want to. And I love the fact that Denis Villeneuve, especially being a fan of the original Blade Runner, like Denis Villeneuve voices about how he watched this in theaters and how much he loves it so much. But in that same breath of like, I want to do my own interpretation and I want the audience to also interpret it a way that they want. My question to you for this movie is, do you think Rick Deckard is a replicant or not?
I I contemplated this for a while, and honestly, sometimes I still contemplate it. Yeah, I think I think
You think he's a
I think
replicant?
he's a replicant, and the reason I say that is because the way that he interacts with Joe
Mm-hmm.
about like kind of like realizing all the stuff that he's finding out, and obviously giving him kind of like what he had gone through,
Because
basically.
he had the same job as him.
Yeah, with that, like yeah, no, just his like mentorship towards Joe, I guess, in the movie, and like obviously even his in his conversation, you can see the emotion in his face of no, like what you're doing like is like I don't agree with this, and like because of and, like this like look what I've had to become because of you, because of the things that you're creating and whatnot, and you know what, and how you guys basically all toy with life in general.
Right.
His deep passion towards that, I think he is a replicant.
I don't.
Why?
I don't think he's a replicant. I think he's a human. Going back to how humans feel,
Right.
when the scene where they, find out where Joe is, they blow up Rick Deckard's house and all that stuff,
Right.
and they basically kidnap Rick Deckard and they bring out Rachel, his wife that he procreated the said kid with that they're trying
Mm-hmm.
to find. And he looks at her, and at first he's like, of course, you see that he's like in shock, and it's taking him back to when he first met her. You have like Neander Wallace, like just babbling on and on and on about how they're able to create whatever, and even in the same caliber of whatever it was. And he's like, her eyes were green. That is what makes me think he's a human. Because to be so overwhelmed with like grief of like, oh my gosh, like this person that I thought I would never see again is right in front of me. Wait a second. This is not the person that I fell in love with. As something as so simple as eye color.
And I can see that, honestly, and, like, and again, I guess my point kinda goes to the opposite of that, is he's able to do that because of all this time that he has spent, like, the kind of reconciliation that he can be just as human as a human.
Or honestly, in this world, because of the fact that they are now discovering that they can procreate, it's possible that someone could be hybrid. I think also too, it could be possible that Rick Deckard is a hybrid.
Uh,
This movie's incredible, you
it
guys.
really
If
is.
you've never seen Blade Runner 2049,
Go
I
watch
highly
it.
suggest go watch it.
Right.
So I would rate Blade Runner 2049 4 stars.
Fantastic, that's good to hear.
It loses a star for me though, because I was left with so many questions.
That's fair.
I again, like, I like a movie that leaves it up to the audience to decide, but I couldn't even decide certain things. I'm
Right.
like, I need answers to this and I need the actual answer. I can't just like use context clues.
Just
I did have multiple questions, and
her
but sometimes the
eyes
best
were blue.
movies leave you with a lot of questions.
Now, obviously, for my movie that was recommended to me by Arianna,
It's
and
27 Dresses. Sorry, I got excited.
and
I
she's
love
about
this
to
movie.
get crushed. So
Oh my gosh, I'm
okay,
scared.
look, actually, not. It's honestly my review isn't that bad. So obviously, starting off, like I thought, obviously we had a great introduction to Jane.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a very like fun like opening scene of her doing the
Yes.
two weddings. The banter between her and the taxi driver is very funny. Obviously, we see at the beginning it plays into like little fun wedding tropes, which is like nice because we see how much her character values those, and
Mm-hmm.
even in like this in the smallest senses. Obviously, we see that off the rip of her going to two different weddings. Like it's
Yes.
not just about the best friends. It's about the fact that these events are important to you because you hold them in such high value.
Yeah.
We see that very early on,
And
and I
not because she's a planner, but
right,
that's not because it's her career or
right.
her hobby, essentially. It's because she genuinely loves weddings.
The whole like classic meet cute kind of scenario that
Mm-hmm.
happens. It annoys me a little bit,
What?
but I will also say this movie was put out in 2008. Like, you know what I mean? And I mean, people, I guess that still happens when you watch Anyone But You and all this other
Mm.
crap. Like, you have to put, I guess, a little meet cute thing in
I
there.
love a meet cute.
It establishes
Mm.
Kevin pretty decently. Obviously, we get a classic best friend sidekick to him,
Mm.
which I mean, I'm learning that that's really
That's
is a
something that
trope.
you like
Yeah,
a
that's
lot.
I
It is a
mean,
trope. It is a trope. The the guy that is interested in a girl has a best friend. And
right.
I like
Which I
that.
love that. It's a very realistic take. The
Yes.
guy's always gonna have the best friend that's sitting
Mhm.
there like, come on, man, like like go get like come on, like and
Yeah.
I love that. It's very fun. She definitely seems unsure of herself for the very first part, like mostly the first part of the movie. It's funny because like she's that person where she's presenting like she's sure of herself,
Mhm.
but you can tell with all these little signs she is so unsure. And part of this whole unsureness, and we see this obviously when the sister comes in, she has been outshined by her entire life. Like,
Yeah.
and you get that immediately.
Yeah, the sister is
Yeah.
probably the worst sister in chick flick universe.
Yeah, like, and obviously you can see her feeling more of this as you can see her realization after obviously her sister meets her boss and all that, and she realizes that they are going out. You can see her realize that she's like losing in this sense,
Right.
and it makes her almost start to have this crisis. And that's what I do
Yeah.
like about this movie is it makes every motivation of her character very clear. I think it was well written in that regard. I think it's almost also really funny to see how Kevin doesn't realize how much he's falling for her. Like I thought that was really funny most of the time. Like to him, it was him like almost trying to break a story in a way, and whether that be literally before he obviously gets assigned to her sister's wedding, but when he like gets her planner and all that, he wants to find out more about this person for the simple fact of he wants to prove her wrong. And it's so funny to see that because he is slowly, that process takes him into falling in love with her and seeing the kind of person that she is. And obviously the sisters, I thought this was a funny note in general, which I mean, can't really take much from the movie about this, but like the sisters' willingness and for like to date the boss in general, rooted in some weird other thing, I think. Like I just thought it was strange in and of itself. I would say invading her sister's life in a way.
Yeah.
It feels like it's I mean, like we get into their conversation earlier. Literally, I made this note before, obviously, that all that even happened. Of it's rooted in her insecurity of
Yes.
from what she has seen from her sister because she feels like she has things together and
Right.
she's got things figured out.
Getting married after knowing
Yeah.
each other for 2 months is crazy.
Yeah, no, that was like so that was wild. They were
That's
even rushing the wet. Like, what are we doing? Like,
exactly.
you know what
Because
I
she's so
mean?
desperate to conform to this idea. Because listen, I feel like as a sister, you would know when your sister's interested in another person in a romantic way.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like,
Like you would know how her behavior changes, in her body language,
right.
how she's interacting with that person. My theory is I think Tess knew that Jane had a crush on her boss and she stole that from her. That is just my opinion.
Mm,
And to be real, I think that's why she was so like wanting the wedding to happen now, and why she was willing to lie in order to be with him. You
right.
get what I mean? Because she was stuck in this competitive mode with her sister of like, I want what you have, I want the life that you have, and here's how I'm gonna take it.
The best friend, best friend is the best part of the movie. The girl best friend, like
Yeah.
I'm forgetting her name, but
Mhm.
she is. I also just love that actress. I think she is so beautiful
Yeah.
and just so sweet looking. Like she
Hmm.
is such. She seems like such a glowing person. She was so funny, and again, we go back to the rehearsal dinner scene of her being like, "No, that's not what you did at all. That was like mean," and
Uh-huh.
like that was just like this pour of feelings.
That's what I
And like
mean,
when,
and she, like, called
like,
her out on what she did wrong,
right,
because
like
even though the friend was like, "No, like, she's this, she's that, like, she's awful,"
she
you
was like,
did
yeah,
take it too
yeah, I know. She
far.
was like, that's not what that was. Like,
Yeah, that
like
was
that
not
wasn't you
that was
standing up for yourself. That was you just lashing out, like basically,
exactly,
like
like, years of built up resentment you let out on this poor girl's rehearsal
she is
dinner.
the rock of this movie. But anyhow, like obviously we see like towards the last half that like in general
Mhm.
I did notice this only leading up to the bar scene. He starts to confide in her more. We see that, especially with the conversation about like their favorite parts of weddings and like
Yeah.
whatnot. And tells her, and obviously she's like, no way, like that's my favorite part. It's like a very
Yeah.
good moment of connection between them.
Yes.
Help solidify at least the beginning of them like really starting to understand each other.
Yes, and the bar scene is just my favorite scene of the entire
It's
movie,
honestly really good.
where they're like singing on the bar, dancing to Benny and the Jets,
Like
and it's great. And every time I hear that song, I always think of that scene.
that really just kind of like leads me to like the kiss in general. Like that
Hmm.
was, after they sing and he like is like on this rush of a high,
Yes.
and he is just like, I wept like a baby. Like, you
And
know
then
what?
and then they just melt into each other.
Right,
And
exactly. You see them like surrender to each other in a way.
yes,
Like
yes, that's a brilliant way to put it.
the whole seeing how Tess had cut up the wedding dress, obviously, that was like
I've
the first domino.
Yeah, I've never experienced so much anger watching a chick flick,
No, yeah,
truthfully. Honestly, God knew not to make you my sister. Because if you were to
right.
have done something like that, I'm literally gonna fist fight you in that dress shop for sure. Like, we're gonna take it outside because you cut up our deceased mom wedding dress and then have the audacity to be like, oh, well, there's some pieces for you too. Here's some scraps.
Right? How I was
Are you
like,
joking?
no, she had every right to like lose her shit in that moment. I
I
think
think
that
she
was
didn't lose her shit enough.
enough. Yeah, low key. That like I expected a more of a crash out,
That
honestly.
to me
Like
is the most unrealistic part of this movie.
my last couple thoughts really are one, two, that the quitting scene just felt kind of forced, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest.
Mhm.
It felt like it was just shoved in there as like another way to like show her character moving forward in life and whatnot. I didn't care for it. I felt like it was just severely unneeded. Like
Yeah.
like genuinely, you could have took that out of the movie. It would have made no difference to me.
What's weird to me is that he immediately like tried moving on to her. Do you think the boss would have been better off not knowing whether Jane had a crush on him or not?
Honestly, yes. Because again,
Yeah.
I think I say like it makes no real difference.
Yeah. I
And
mean, clearly it didn't. You know what
that's
I
what
mean? It
yeah,
didn't pivot in that
exactly.
direction. It didn't pivot to him realizing he fell for the wrong
Right,
sister.
because obviously that's not this story.
No.
Obviously, finally is like obviously the actual wedding of her and
Mhm.
Kevin was very good.
Yeah.
It was a great culmination.
Then panning to see all of the
Yes, and
women wearing the
I
bridesmaid dresses.
loved that. That goes into my overall thoughts, which
Mhm.
honestly would just say it was a good movie in my personal opinion. I mean, it wasn't like one of the ones where I found myself saying I could watch it, like on
Yeah.
my own. Like if I saw it on like suggested and I read the description, I probably wouldn't watch it if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely not jumping at me, but the storyline was well put out. I thought characters were very well developed. The writing, for the most part, was just really nice. There were a few parts, obviously, like I'd mentioned earlier, that I didn't feel were as strong, like
Mhm.
the quitting scene and
Yeah.
such things of that sort. But overall, it was pretty good. I mean, there was definitely a lot of parts that I liked that outshined the bad. I mean, the dress montage,
Yeah.
her throwing away the dresses, the scenes between her and her sister in the dressing room, like
Right.
that very powerful stuff that I had no notes on.
What is your overall ranking on this movie?
Honestly, I would definitely say that. I mean, as far as like everything goes, considering it all, I would definitely give it a solid 3 stars out of
Yeah.
5.
That's not bad. I thought you were gonna rank it like 2 or
Yeah, and I mean, which I mean, like coming into this, to be honest with you, I really did think I was going to when I first began watching the movie.
So like I mentioned in the first episode, I have a long list of my favorite chick flicks of all time.
Right.
So far there is 56 movies on that list. Um this movie, 27 Dresses, is at 46 out of 56.
And
Which like
yeah,
I mean, and that's not to say like that this movie is like terrible, obviously,
right.
because it wouldn't be on my favorite chick flicks of all time list. However, there is movies above this that to me personally I would rather watch over this movie. Yeah, let's move on to our next segment. So, diving into our last segment of this episode is previously on the internet.
Right.
This is a segment where we just talk about pop culture moments that me and you both care about. Obviously, this past week, the Critics Choice Awards happened, and
Yeah.
next year we'll be more prepared to talk about all of the categories in Critics Choice Awards and
Right.
dissect that. That is
Well, that
a
will probably end up being like an actual episode that we dedicate to is
yeah.
like these award shows, but
In 2027,
yeah.
that's the goal. Again, we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
First thing that I want to talk about is Ariana Grande losing to Amy Madigan for Best Supporting Actress. So Ariana Grande was in Wicked.
Right.
There was 2 Wicked movies.
Right.
Wicked, the first one, and then Wicked for Good. I've seen the first Wicked. I've also seen the second one. You haven't really seen it.
I have nope. Yeah, not really. Not
um,
my
but
forte.
and that's fine. Musicals aren't for everybody. And then you have Amy Madigan in that same category, who is Aunt Gladys in the movie Weapons, which we
Right.
both have seen. I watched the first Wicked. I think Ariana Grande did amazing in the first one. And I'm not saying she did poorly in the second one, but I don't think the second one showcased her as an actress as well as the first. So her losing this category to Amy Madigan, in my opinion, made sense. And I think when Demi Moore won for The Substance last year, it opened a new eye to all of things that are
Right.
horror, and that horror as a genre can be artistically amazing.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And Weapons is one of those movies. And I think that also people wanting Ariana Grande to win. I'm a huge Ariana Grande fan, first of all. I've been
yeah.
a
I
fan of
mean,
hers
yeah.
since
I
I was
know.
10 years old. I've been to 2 of her concerts. Like, she's amazing.
Right.
I love her so much. But there is Ariana Grande, the singer, and then there's Ariana Grande, the actress. And
Right.
she herself has made it very clear there's a very clear division between the two. And if we are comparing Ariana Grande, the actress, I have to say I need to see her in more things to really feel like she can beat out actresses like Amy Madigan or be in a category with Meryl Streep, or you know what I'm saying?
That's a very fair point, honestly, because like
Yes.
saying that, like, obviously, like, there needs to be a point of actual credibility in that respect earned.
Hmm.
That's correct.
I look forward to seeing a new side of Ariana Grande being an actress and being a fan of hers. Again, as a fan, I can separate Ariana Grande, the pop star, and Ariana Grande, Academy Award winning actress.
Right.
You know what I mean? But in the same breath, Timothy Chalamet won Best Lead Actor category for Marty Supreme,
Right.
beating out Michael B. Jordan for Sinners.
Which, I mean,
Listen, I haven't seen Marty Supreme. I can't really
right.
speak for that.
And neither have I. I haven't gone to.
I'm not knocking. I've seen Timothy Chalamet in other work, like Call Me by Your Name. I've seen him in Beautiful Boy. Marty Supreme is still being played in theaters actively right now.
Right.
Sinners has passed the theater point and is now on streaming services.
Right.
I want someone to educate us, or me specifically, and explain this. How is it that a movie that just came out, and I can understand, like, this movie was probably released like during film festival season, and that's how people are able to see this movie sooner and like get their own opinions on it. If a movie is released theatrically just now, like recently, I want to say in the last quarter of the year, like past September, I find it wild that it's up for categories like best lead actor or best film, or do you get what I'm saying, versus a movie
I
like
mean,
Sinners that has been out for literally the entire year.
by
I'm
the
gonna
way,
say we are no way of saying anybody who won these categories
didn't
didn't
deserve
deserve
it,
it at all.
or anyone who didn't win deserved anything more or anything like that.
These are just our opinions and how we're seeing things, and the way I see this, I don't think it was fair. Marty Supreme, again, it's still actively playing in theaters.
It's still getting its like critiques and whatnot.
Exactly.
I would think people that are doing these, like, like the Academy and all that, they get like early access, obviously, to like these movies.
And that's what I'm saying. They get early access, but the public doesn't. Do you get what I'm
Well,
saying?
we're not the ones voting.
And that's when you're right. Okay, we are not the ones voting. We're not the ones sitting in this room discussing scene by scene, camera shot by camera shot, line
Right.
by line, who deserves the award more. Again, I think that's why it's hard for the public to like even accept
Some of
some of
these,
these winners, because
right,
it's like I haven't even seen this. You haven't even given me enough time
right, like,
to like even wrap this movie around my brain.
like you're talking about, this is the greatest,
You're talking about
performance right now,
you're telling
and
me that he won lead actor and I didn't, and this movie just came out. Does that make sense? But like I said, my overall opinion about that is I just don't think it's fair. Period. Last thing about the Critics' Choice Awards that I want to touch on is The Secret Agent winning Best Foreign Language Film
yeah, I mean,
and not being a televised
it just,
announcement.
I don't.
First of all, very disrespectful.
Look, yeah, no, this was one thing that I really had a lot of major thoughts on, which was really just that it was what an insult to the cast,
Yeah.
what an insult to the crew,
Mhm.
what an insult to the studio. What are we doing?
I can understand foreign language films for people who just don't want to read subtitles simply. Once you start watching foreign language films,
Right.
you unlock a whole door of true cinema.
Oh yeah, I mean, different directors, different writers, just different stories in general
Yes.
that are told. And and I get it. Again, like, it's not everyone's forte, but if you can get yourself into it and like to do it, then it's gonna be a very opening experience for you. The fact of whatever made them make this decision, whether they felt like there was some press for time, or like, I don't know what would have made anyone do this, but
Mhm.
like, it just wasn't right.
It's messed up. And I hope that this is a learned lesson and it doesn't
Yeah, no.
happen
I was
again.
gonna say, yeah, that was really my next thought. Is I just hope we don't see this again.
Last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up this episode is they announced the casting of the live action Tangled.
They did, and I honestly can say, I mean, personally, that I liked the casting for Rapunzel.
And the casting for Mother Gothel.
Catherine Hahn is perfect for this role. I do not care what anyone has to say. Look, Cher is great.
And
I
listen,
mean,
Cher has the look. Cher can sing, obviously.
right.
I think you guys don't know what happens behind the scenes. You know, there's so many people that are up in arms, like it should have been this person, it should have been this person.
Right.
Reality is, no one's gonna be satisfied.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially when it's a retelling of some sort of story that everyone has seen, grew up with, or like loves
Mm-hmm.
into to the depths of their hearts. It's not everyone's gonna be happy.
Right. No one knows. What if Cher got offered and Cher declined?
Yeah. See.
Does
I
that
mean,
make sense?
yeah.
That happens a lot. Milo Manheim.
Mannheim, I
I
believe it
really need
is.
to learn how to pronounce these actors' names before I talk about them. I think he's a great Flynn Rider casting. To me, my only requirement for this is I think Milo Manheim can sing, and also
I
he's
think
a nepo
so.
baby.
Right. Isn't
Yeah,
that right? Yeah.
Cameron Manheim is his mom,
Right.
and she's been in. I know her from a lot of her guest star roles,
Right.
but I think she's great, and I'm sure there's going to be complaints about that. Like, oh, he's a nepo baby. That's how he got this. We can sit here and talk about nepo babies and nepotism in general. Maybe that's a conversation for a different day.
Oh yeah.
But but let me just say, I completely agree with this casting. And here's the thing: like the whole thing about Tegan Croft not looking like Rapunzel. These are animated characters.
Which I also, in my opinion, also I don't understand where that's coming from because to me she looks like Rapunzel. But as far as her casting goes, as far as her work even goes, I've seen her in Titans. That's really the only
Mm,
that's only really the part of her work that I'm familiar with. She does fantastic in that role. I mean, and let me
right.
tell you, that's a shit script that was given to her, like for especially the first season.
Uh huh.
And she played a character with so much depth and like emotion to her. Like she played Raven.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, like she wasn't just like some run of the mill side character. She was Raven.
Uh
Like this is
huh.
a character. This is a character with a lot of depth
Hmm.
to her story. It was a hard character, I would argue, to play. Especially, it was also the first time this character has ever been put into live action in general. So now she'll be doing this for two characters.
But
But
I'm
no, yeah,
excited to see this
I'm
movie.
excited for it. I think they look very good. I think they're
Hmm.
gonna be both very good, and I'm excited. And especially Catherine Hahn too. She can sing.
Yes. Oh,
She can,
really?
yeah, no, because
I didn't know that about
also
her.
so she was in WandaVision with obviously Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. Then she got her own spin-off show based off of the events of that,
Hmm.
kind of carried on, called Agatha All Along. That was her
Oh, yes,
character.
I've heard of that. I've heard of
Right,
that.
right. There's like a whole thing of like a song that they sing throughout, or like a couple times throughout the series because it's like in. Anyway, she has major, like she can sing. I am very, very,
Confident
yeah,
that
very
she's gonna be
confident
great.
with her in this role.
Yeah, I'm confident too. I mean, I've seen clips of Agatha all along. Not of her singing. I had no idea she could actually sing.
Yeah,
I've watched her in like more comedy stuff, like Bad
right.
Moms,
Yeah,
and I still think she's great.
like I really do think that.
So I think this is going to be a great cast, and I'm excited for it. My
Yeah,
only request from Disney, if there's a world where anybody from Disney is watching this, please, please make it look amazing. Alice in Wonderland, gorgeous movie.
one of my favorites.
Seriously, so amazing. Cinderella, amazing. Beauty and the
Beast,
Beast,
amazing.
great live action tellings. So that is my only thing.
Right.
I want them to utilize real sets too. Or not sets, but I want them to utilize true nature of
Right.
it all because again, they're outside most of the movie. So I that's my only thing. I want this to be cinematically gorgeous. And I
So
have confidence that they have received enough backlash from their live action movies lately that they
Snow
will,
White.
yes, whoever did the cinematography and the editing or what have you to Alice in Wonderland needs to be put on
Yeah,
this
there we
movie.
go. No, for real.
Yeah, that's all I have for previously on the internet. And with that being said, thank you
Thank you
for
for.
tuning in on this episode of Rated R for Relatives. We
Hope
hope
you
you
all
enjoyed.
enjoyed. See you later.
Bye.
Which, those of you who might know, but you know.
Marcus, nobody knows anything. I don't
Well,
even
I
know what you're
mean,
talking about. You're speaking in riddles.
hey, that's the point though.
No, it's not. This is a podcast. We have to talk to each other. Like,
Well, regardless,
oh,
it's not gonna be a little, it's not gonna be too funny or, ooh, damn,
you just
that was
spit all
crazy.
over me.
That camera. Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
god.
But